And we're live. Morning thoughts, morning thoughts, morning thoughts. No long talking this morning. I'm not even going to do my real long introduction. We are purposely late to this podcast this morning because we didn't want to have a long, drawn out podcast on such a serious topic. We wanted this one to be impactful. So this one is going to be 1 hour long. It's going to be short compared to what we're used to, but it's going to be impactful as intended, right? I know some of you thought we weren't going to have a morning thoughts this morning, but I had to really think about this. This is what we call timing. So sometimes you have to just place the material in the right place at the right time and try to make it so people don't get bored and leave the content and not get everything from it. This ain't one of the mornings where we're going to joke a lot, laugh a lot. This is kind of a serious discussion, a serious conversation. Jamaican women and girls under siege by gunmen and predators. You know, the reason I'm doing this topic this morning, is because I came across, where's my manners? Big up to everybody tuning in this morning. But I feel the need to just go right in. All right, so work with me. Not wearing any hat this morning. I just washed my hair and I'm letting the hair breeze out. These kind of things. So with that said, a couple of things happened over the last day or two, which involved the murder of multiple Jamaican women in just a short space of time. And if you watch the entire year of 2023, from January all the way up till now, a lot of the murders have been women and girls. So, given what happened yesterday, I don't know if you know it, but Jamaica had two double murders happen yesterday. Just yesterday alone. Two double murders, two separate incidents. Of the two double murders, which would give you 4 people, 3 of those were women. Listen, shout out to my Jamaican women. Shout out to the Jamaican women that are not trying to get into anything and are trying to live a stellar and an upward bound kind of life. Because some of these situations, women walk right into it. Knowing what we know now, how the place run, a lot of these women, I shouldn't say a lot, but some of them, whether it's by misguided or miseducation or societal influence or whatever the case may be, without making excuses or trying to make excuses for anyone, some of them are just walking into their death. Some of them are just welcoming death in. But we can't speak about that without speaking about the men who are willing to kill them. And the men who are willing to kill them at an alarming rate with like no conscience behind it. You know, one time gone, when one of these kind of murders happened, it would stun everybody. And a lot of people would be frightened. People would look like, when is this going to happen again? Because this isn't normal. But now it happens every day. It's a triple murder, then a double murder, then a next double murder, then 2 double murders in one day, then a next double murder backed by a next double murder, then another murder over there. And it's like, these are women and children. So the real question is, how has this been impacting Jamaica's society and how it will impact Jamaica's society on the long haul for the foreseeable future? You know, I'm thinking along the lines of, when we speak of impact, I'm thinking about motherless children. I'm thinking about grief-stricken, traumatized children who will grow into troubled children, who will grow into troubled adults, who a lot of them will actually end up in the system or end up in a lifestyle that will end up with their own lives being taken, either by prison or by grave. That's the ramifications of all this. It's bad. Patty Barron says it's getting from bad to worse. Yes, it's past bad. It's worse. We're at the worst. Now, there's another level to this worse that I don't think we've reached yet. But I mean, how bad must it get before we say we're at the worst? What else are we waiting for? Are we waiting for 6 to be killed in a day? Are we looking for like 3 triple murders instead of 2 double murders? Are we looking for, because it seems like we're starting to look at this stuff like it's entertainment. Just like how we listen to music and we listen to gun songs and we listen to, boy, Marrow gets splashed out upon the wall, gunshot in a boy face. I think it's the same way it's playing out in front of us. And just as how we are desensitized to that through the music and entertainment, even let's not just blame the music. Let's blame even movies. We're at that space in time. For those of you who are grown folks, you will remember like not too long ago, they didn't have movies where people got shot and you could see the brain matter splatter and you could see the head open and you could see, the whole impact of what a gunshot does and all this. When I was growing up, we had karate movies. You remember those old karate movies where the Chinese man them used to talk like their mouth didn't match their words, kind of thing, and every move you would hear it, them kind of movie there. Those are the most, probably the movies with the most violence that we had. Think about it. Those are the movies with the most violence we had. Back then, if they were going to show you any movie that had some level of violence, it probably had to do with some American war movie, telling you about World War II or World War I or something like that. Not violence for entertainment, not a human being getting shot in the face and their forehead exploding for entertainment. But slowly but surely it became more and more. And the thing about the entertainment side of things is when I see people say, yeah, but the Jamaican singers are more influential than American movies. So you can't blame the American movies that are being imported into the country. I mean, the internet has done a number on us. Like we are now connected globally. So even if radio says we're going to ban playing certain songs, you know what the average young person in Jamaica says to you today? Nobody listen to no radio no more. That's what they tell you. Nobody not listen to no radio no more, brother. Make them ban that. I YouTube the thing there. And they're on YouTube. And they could pretty much access everything on YouTube. And they don't have to worry about what's streamed into them through television, newspaper. But even the newspapers and the television has become that. So nobody is really like squirmish anymore. When you say double murder now, people are like, normal day. When you say 3 women in one day and 1 guy, a regular thing. And we move on about our business. There's no longer more any, oh my God, are you serious? And I mean, from on all levels. So let me clue you into a couple of incidents that happened yesterday, because I know you're looking at the icon for this video and I know you see 2 women on it. Those are 2 of the 3 women that lost their lives yesterday, right? Sean Cassell, big up yourself. Thank you, fam. Sean Cassell says, please hit the like button or with that the thumbs up button as you enter the live. That thumbs up button helps us to trend as far as where YouTube will place this video on YouTube. You don't hit enough thumbs up button, they lost the video. That's how we say it, right? Which is the video gets shuffled and hidden under many other videos, and it's looked at as your audience not really interacting with your material. So they'll look at the video and be like, the video was on for an hour, but the engagement level was pretty low. Nobody really checked for it. So look, it has 485 people on it live with only 124 thumbs up. That tells you that majority of who's watching it, they're not really into it, right? So hide that video at the bottom of the pile and go for somebody else's video that has more. That's how it works. So when we explain this to you, please just hit the thumbs up button. It don't cost you a thing. You're here getting the content as well. Thank you to those who do hit the thumbs up button. And we're not going to get into this discussion of who's not going to hit the thumbs up button. We already know how that goes, right? Some people you could preach till you're blue and beg till you're red. They're just not going to hit it. So it's all good. We still go on because we do what we love and we love what we do. So back to this. Shout out again, Sean, and thank you for that. Let's get into the stories. First of all, let's start out with this disturbing story that disturbed the hell out of me. Okay, there's a father. Listen, Remember, I'm talking about gunmen and I'm talking about predators. This man went to bail recently. I went to, not bail, went to court recently. A man who raped two of his four daughters was denied bail. Two of his four daughters. I don't know what gets into a man that makes you feel like your daughter is sexually attractive to you. I don't know what gets into a father that you could be blessed with four daughters and you sexually assault two of the four. And as far as this story goes, I'm thinking he sexually assaulted all four of them, but only two of them are willing to talk. A father of four who is accused of sexually assaulting two of his daughters was denied bail on Tuesday in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. I'm telling you already, I tell you about the food in Jamaica, and people think I'm joking, right? But I'm not joking. The food in Jamaica is kind of different from the food that you eat, say, for those of us who are living overseas, particularly in America. I can speak on that for sure because this is where I live majority of the year. So I feel the difference in my body and I can compare it directly to here, right? It's just like doing a little experiment then. And it makes you like riled up and ready to go. But then where's your mindset and your conscience? Because even if my body is riled up and ready to go and feel like I want to do something, I'm not looking at my daughters. I can't look at children. So I don't understand that mindset. So I can't speak from that mindset. So the accused, who will not be named and his identity is protected, and the reason why they will not name him and they will not protect and they will hide his identity is because they're trying to protect the children. They don't want, and you know the stigma that goes along with this, right? They don't want these little girls walking around in Jamaica and people are saying, yo, your daddy used to rape you off, or your daddy used to F you off, or you used to sleep with your daddy, and these kind of things. Because they have a way in our culture of turning this around on the females. I've seen it too many times. I've seen it so many times that I'm often confused as to why. Even women, Jamaican women, will turn against the other Jamaican women who are bawling out, I was raped, I was molested, I was abused, it's him do it. And they them same one to think that another woman would have some compassion and some kind of a, I don't know what the word is, empathy for another woman or a female. Nah. So the best thing to do is to try to protect these children's identity. Now, the backside of trying to protect these children's identity by hiding this nasty man's identity is that if there are any others out there, they won't even know that he is being prosecuted, so they can't come forward. So it's a lose win kind of situation. You can't win for losing. I don't know. If I'm supposed to bet on this, I would bet that this man, because there's no way you did that to your children and you didn't do it to anybody else outside. Your children are the last. I don't care how insane you are. Your children are the last that you would want to do anything like that too. So for the fact that you got to that stage where you did it to them, or you had practiced before, you were doing this with somebody else before and somebody else's children before. So I'm kind of feel a kind of way that his identity is not exposed, but I understand the fragile part of protecting these children's identity. Yo, this is a crazy story. That's one. We're gonna go through three and then we're gonna talk. So the accused will not be named publicly and his identity will be protected, hidden to protect the identity of the children. He's charged with 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of grievous sexual incest, indecent assault, sexual touching, cruelty to a child, and assaulting a female. Now, it is alleged that between 29 and 2012 and then 2014 all the way up to 2023, the complainants, who are minors still, were subjected to sexual abuse by their father. He allegedly touched them, in intimate places, including you know where. Used to practice kissing on them, mouth kiss, tongue kiss. One of the complainants, the alleged abused child, said that her abuse started at 5 years old. This is her real dad at 5 years old. Given her account, because she stand up and she's speaking now, given her account, she said that at nighttime, her father used to enter her room and lay on top of her, and he wouldn't penetrate yet. This is from she was 5. Squeeze her up with him big body, lay down on the poor little picnic. Wouldn't penetrate her yet, but would rub up until him finish pleasuring himself. Yo, as she got older, she said that he would start making her perform oral. Further allegations noted that one night in 2016, this is one of them telling another story, said that one night in 2016, the father was sleeping in the bed with them. So I'm just coming at it, picking them bed, come lay down. This is where I'm going to sleep. So they fell asleep. I'm sleeping next to daddy. And he woke up and wake her up and ordered her to give him oral. His daughter, his baby girl. He's been remanded and then he'll be back in court. He was supposed to be back in court again on the 29th of September. We're at the 3rd of October today. We haven't heard the update yet as to what happened in court. All we know is that he was held without bail. No bail is given. And he's going to have to stay where he is at until trial. Now, that's one. And that's speaking from the predator's part. I feel so sad for these children. I feel so sad for any little child that has to be going through this, because a child don't understand the world, you know. A child does not understand the world. That was my first question to Purple Royal. I was like, where is the mother? Because the story mentions nothing about the mom. From as far back as 2016, I went and I dug. I was looking from as far back as 2016, no mention of the mom. Now, I'll tell you a common thing that happens in Jamaica too. Women go, take the picnic them, drop them off at the daddy, and leave. They do it all the time. I don't know why people think that this is some kind of an anomaly, that it never happens or it barely happens ever. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. You know, speaking from my own self, I've told all the women who've had children for me, like, don't be out there under pressure to where, oh, I have to take in man and I want my man here. And no, just bring me my kids. I won't even ask you for $1. Don't worry about paying me no child support. I'm not running down nothing from you. Bring me my kids. I will raise my kids. And I damn sure won't be no predator to them. So to see these children end up with a dad, right? In a world where it's like a dad is scarce. Now, let me tell you something. I see one person said the other day on a video where the little boy came. This video has gone viral. It's a video of a little boy. He came out the house and he was venting. And he was like, my fat ass daddy, all he do is sit there and eat all day and play video games. He don't even clean up the house. Oh, I can't wait till I get big so I could beat his ass. That's the little boy on the front porch of his house, right? And he's venting. He's about 9 years old, 10 years old. He's venting. There's a surveillance camera that picked up his whole venting, everything he was saying. So I said to myself, not to myself, I left the comment that this goes way deeper than you think. A grown-ass man that sits in the house all day, unemployed, playing video games, eating up all the food in the house, and waiting for his child to clean up behind him. They have to come wash the dishes because you've been filling the sink with dishes all day. The poor little kid is like, his fat ass, he need to lose some weight. I can't stand him. I said, damn, if that's your child's idea of you as a father, then you failed or you are failing. This is why children go out there and take role models from rappers, DJs, singers, whoever you want to call it, gang members, predators, because comes in like, I'm gonna be that figure. I'm gonna give you that love, that attention, right? You know, it was crazy to see a lot of my people on my comment saying the child has a dad. The dad is in the house. What more you want? At least he's not out running the streets and he doesn't know who his father is, like in so many cases. Which brings me to this. I said, I hope I remember to say this on Morning Thoughts. You can be there and not be there. So because you there doesn't mean you are really there. Don't miss that. You can be there and not be there. So because you're there doesn't mean you're really there, right? You have some present absentee fathers. They're there just to say they're there. They're not there influencing properly. They're not there. I don't know. They're not there being active. They're not there being a part of the child life. When last you turned off the video game, took a child outside, played a game with him, took him to the park, took him to an event. The local high school is playing football tonight. When last you went and go sat at a football game or a basketball game, a volleyball game with him? The beach is close by. When last you spent the day at the beach with him? When last you spoke to him face to face with no gadgets and devices around so he can hear just your voice? A lot of parents are absentee parents, actually. I watch women do it all the time. She'll have the kids around her, but all she does is have the kids around her. And she'll get on social media and say, I'm a great mom. I'm all about my children. I don't play with mines. But if you observe her for 24 hours with those kids, she puts the kids in front of a television, put on what she thinks is their favorite shows. It be looking so sad sometimes because the kid been watching the same programs since they were like 1. And they're probably now, like, if you look at it, they're 2, 3, 4. No advancement. And the kid is still singing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And the kid is 4 and 5. Or they put them on their little tablet. And go get on your tablet. Stay over there. While they lost in their own devices and doing their own thing. When last you turned off all those things and actually had time with your child? Or they'll say, I'm spending time with my child, but they got a boombox loud playing, I want that fire for you. I want that, or whatever the latest stuff is. I testify for you. You know, love songs about men and her relationship and all this, and it reminisce and it's reminiscent of her last love or her present man or something. Turn off all those devices. This is my advice to mom. But I'm talking about dads who are there but are not really there. Because I'm tying it back into these parents who become predators to their own children. Yeah. Why? Why you look at your daughter and see sexy and sexual or anything turns you on? And minors too, baby. Yeah. I could go on and talk about them people that are dead and all that. It's not going to solve anything. Now, taken from a study, Caribbean Policy Research Institute, right? Caribbean Policy Research Institute released this study, and it says Jamaica has the second highest rate of femicide, which is international, which is intentional. Femicide is intentional female homicide or intentional homicide of females. That means you intended to kill these women or these females. Jamaica has the second highest rate and one of the world's highest rates of intimate partner violence. Let's not get started into talking about the intimate partner violence. It's like a natural place for in our culture. Oh, she wants to leave. It's gonna be risky. Like people, People have gotten to the place where you can't leave a relationship. Listen, it's not working out between us. We weren't born conjoined twins. If it's not working out and it's unhappy for you, I'm no longer bringing you joy to add to whatever joy you got already. You're no longer bringing me any joy or pleasure. We just over here like we about to kill each other on a daily basis. I know sometimes you got to work through your stuff in order to get to, you got to work through the darkness in order to get to the light, right? And don't give up on your relationship and all that. But some of these relationships should have never started in the first place. It started on abuse and started in deceit. And they just blossom more into, remember, I know Granny used to say, you can't plant corn and get peas, right? Granny used to say, you can't plant corn and get peas, right? So if you got your relationship started, let's go wild and do an example. You take with Teresa, man. Because you know that Teresa was married to him, right, for like 4 or 5 years. They had 2 kids. You pass by, you like them little house, you like them 2 little car, you like whatever. You take with Teresa, man. You made yourself available to him. And then knowing that he was married or whatever, his whole relationship goes down the drain. He ends up with you. Because Teresa is frustrated how him start spend money over your yard, how he's taking care of your kids that are not his. This is how you pull away, right? And get for yourself now. Now you're telling yourself that I'm in love with him and this is my husband and things are gonna last. And then a beer lick and beer thump and beer abuse. And now you want to run away. And now you find yourself in one of these situations because you planted corn and you were expecting to get peas. And it don't work. It was built on deceit. Violence was right there from the beginning. Hey, now while the causes are complex, cultural attitudes have been found to contribute significantly to the scale and the nature of violence against women and girls, and the reactions and the responses to it. Let me say that again for you. While the causes are complex, cultural attitude has been found to contribute significantly to the scale and the nature of violence against women and girls and the reactions and the responses to it. There's a proven link. Listen to this. There's a proven link between media consumption and cultural attitudes, with the news media playing a key role in the development and reinforcement of social beliefs, individual behaviors, and policy development. And this study was published in Caribbean Policy Research Institute. Now, with that said, before we go into the cultural shift that has taken place, because I'm starting to think like we're not like women no more or what? You know, don't we find value in our women anymore? You know, so we can't carry no babies, right? I don't know if these men know that we can't carry babies. I don't know if these men know that in order to get to the future, you have to go through a woman. You have to do it with women. You have to do it with our girls. I don't know if they know that because they're flexing like they don't know it. For some reason, they're moving like a beer man ahead into the future, and it's gonna be a bright future with beer man. It's weird. It's weird. A lot of things are weird now, though. It's 2023. You know, a lot of things have been weird for quite some time. But this year, last year to this year, or should I say the last 3 to 4 years, has been pretty weird all around. All kind of weirdness going on around us. I don't know if you're tapping in spiritually to what's taking place around us, but all kinds of weirdness going on around us. So, Lesser Steph says, SouFLo, the way things are going, you soon can carry baby. That right there. Hold on. The police says that a suspect is in custody following the shooting death of a 31-year-old Anique Walters. Anique Walters is the daughter of the People's National Party prospective councillor candidate. This is a person who was going to run. This is one of the candidates, right? Prospective councillor candidate for the Admiral Town Division, Louise Pumbles Newland. That's the name of her parent. That's into politics. Both Walters, a security supervisor at the Benbow or the Benbow Street, Kingston address, and a man was with who she was with were both shot. About 10:45 Sunday night, the man, they say, remained in the hospital. I think the man passed. I'm not sure. But I know that the female did pass. Now, head of the Kingston Central Police Division, Superintendent Beresford Williams, said that it was too early to establish a clear motive for the killing, and it's so difficult to decipher whether or not the man in custody was actually involved. The person was taken into custody following information that came out of a description of a vehicle. Somebody said they saw a certain kind of vehicle driving away speedily from the scene of what just happened, and it looked like that's who was doing the shooting. And so the police intercepted that vehicle, and now they're saying they're not too sure if that's the person or if he has anything to do with it. Maybe him just hear gunshot in the area and say, "Let me take one myself." Maybe he doesn't have anything to do with it at all. Right. So the person was taken into custody. He reportedly was seen in that vehicle in a manner that arose the suspicion of the law, and they pulled him over. Now, according to reports, Walter and an unidentified male companion drove up in a black motor car on Orange Street in the vicinity of Orange Villa. As they sat there, they were pounced upon by gunmen who peppered them with bullets. And the man, this man in this case is not dead because he got hit in the leg. The woman, not saying that you can't die if you get hit in the leg, you could, but the chances are. So I'll leave that one open. But the woman died. She took all the shots to her upper chest area, and she passed away. That's one. And then there's a murder of a mother and daughter that is just sad as hell. The reason why the murder of the mother and the daughter is sad as hell because there's a backstory to this one already. Check it. The month of October, this is an article, right? The month of October starts exactly as the month of September ended, with women being murdered by the gun and being murdered in multiples. Remember the other day we just said a house that got invaded. They ran into the house. They packed the children up, tell the children get some juice and some snacks. Took the baby, put the baby in the stroller, tell them get out the house, and they executed all the adults in there. Okay, or multiple women in that house. So the month of October starts exactly as the month of September ends. There's no end in sight to this. There's a strategy that's going on. And I think I've been trying to tell you this for a while. I watched an interview, or it wasn't an interview. Yeah, it was. I think it was a documentary. I don't remember. But it was a person who was a self-described shooter. And the person said, yeah, man, so this new tactic we are employing now, we're not about to go after the man them, go after the woman them in the community. So if my community and your community is at war, we pass through your community, light up a couple of women over there. And the interviewer asked, why the women? Are they involved? He said, nah, but it's a psychological warfare kind of thing, and I said, damn, this is deep. He said it's a psychological warfare kind of thing, I said the money are not, they're not dummies. They're intelligent people, but they're using their intelligence for the wrong thing. If you're out here speaking about psychological warfare and war with your neighboring community and why you do something like this, you know the effects of this. You know the impact. You know this is going to leave motherless children. You know this is going to leave a grief-stricken community. You know this is going to breed traumatized people, traumatized children who might never get help for the trauma that you're about to lay upon them. You know this, and he says it, and they do it. say, yeah, we'll go over for them community and let's light up a couple of the woman them. He went further to explain and he said, well, hear what? You know, when a man dead or when a youth dead, male then, nobody no really, people kind of expect it and then, become the norm thing, a next man dead, a next man dead. But when you kill a woman, it's like everything stopped the sucker. Some of them, most of them hosts here are single mother hosts them. So, you left a youth them out there with no parents because daddy wasn't there in the first place. And then people generally feel different about a girl, a woman. And I'm thinking while he's talking, and I said to myself, God, Lee, it's like thinking about my daughters, right? And how I explained to y'all yesterday that I have a soft spot and a different place for my daughters in my mind, in my heart, kind of thing. And when you start to think about killing for whatever reason you decide to kill, me don't know them business. I don't know why they're killing off each other like that. I'm not going to pretend to know either. All I know is blood spill here leads to blood spill there, leads to blood spill here, leads to blood spill there, and it keeps going back and forth. I can't tell you the original route. I don't know if it's scammer money, drugs money, fighting for turf, disrespect, whatever the case may be. It might be all of the above or none of those. I don't know. But when we get to the place where we're like, start to plan, like, all right, we'll go over there later. Don't worry about the man them. You see, if you see any woman outside, slap that way. Women. So, the month of October began exactly as September ended, with women being murdered by the gun and in the multiples. Yesterday, breakfast services, usually catered by a woman and her daughter door on the outskirts of the National Solid Waste Management Authority in Spanish Town Road offices, that they didn't reach their intended and their casual customers, or usual customers rather, after the women were murdered before the start of the business day. Mommy and her daughter setting up because this is what they do, and they've been doing it for years. As far as I've heard, she's been out there about 20 years. Early in the morning, you want some porridge and these things. One thing I love about Jamaica, because in speaking all this wickedness, we still have to remember that there's good. One thing I love about Jamaica is this. You see, if I wake up in the morning, I'm going to say, yo, I'm going to feel for some peanut porridge. I'm going to feel for some oats porridge or some cornmeal porridge. I feel for a piece of yellow yam and some ackee and saltfish or something like that. Guess what? I don't have to go cook that in my fridge. In my kitchen. And I don't have to go pay an arm and a leg for it at some fancy restaurant either, like we have to do in the US, right? You can wake up at 7, 8 o'clock in the US and go get ackee and saltfish, dumpling and banana and them something there, peanut porridge and them thing there. No. It's the beauty about these things. So these are the services that people like this provide, right? These are the services that people like this provide and been providing it for a while. And they got there every morning about the same time. Only this morning, Gunman was waiting. They have been identified as Sophia Drummond, which is the woman you see on the icon, the older woman on the icon. There's a younger female to the left. That's the female who I first spoke about. Sophia Drummond, she is also an employee. She is also an employee of the solid waste management place. And her daughter, Dominique W.I. Shout out to the women who got multiple hustles, multiple streams of income, and they understand it and they go get it. Right? Them not just sit down and wait for a man to give them something. Cause my crotch is good, someone have to pay for everything. It takes discipline. It takes discipline. She work inside at the actual company. And she is the person who's responsible for food and stuff, catering on the outskirts of it before you go in the morning. You can't know, say, for sure, I pull up to work in the morning, Miss Sophia Drummond is going to be there, and she might have some peanut porridge this morning with some or whatever, and I grab that, and I'm on my way into work. The police says that the two were ambushed and they were shot by gunmen about 5:10 a.m. 5:10 a.m. Early morning when progressive, productive people normally get up to go put in work. Gunman up lay waiting you. Then gunman not up going to work. Gunman up lay waiting you. But her story is suspicious. The investigators said that they are probing several avenues to arrive at a possible motive. The Gleaner, shout out to the Gleaner, understands that perhaps all was not well with Miss Drummond at her workplace at the solid waste management firm. And she was very vocal about it as well, even using her social media account to air her grosses in a series of posts online. Now, on June 16, she wrote this, quote unquote. She said, "Too much politics at the National Solid Waste Management Authorities," unquote, end quote. Then a day later, she wrote, "Why should my political affiliation affect my job? MPM, the solid waste management, is now a political arena / asylum." Remember the other counselor, I believe it was, who got killed recently? And they said when he was giving away farm work contracts, if you weren't a part of his party, you couldn't get it. So they politicize everything. Everything is political. You have to vote this party. This is how they stronghold control areas. Everybody live around here, so a PNP. Everybody live around there, so a JLP. That's how they stronghold and control these areas. Solid Waste Management or this is Metropolitan Parks and Markets Waste Management Limited. They are the regional branch of the Solid Waste Management Services, which services the corporate area. Drummond, who has reportedly been employed at the solid waste management plant for more than 2 decades, more than 20 years on the job, She had suggested recently that she was being victimized at work because of her political affiliation. She left something saying, "I have been at MOM for over 20 years, from working in the office to route coordinator to team leader to office again. And now I'm supposed to go sit at the Riverton dump due to politics, and there is no one to speak to because I am a PNP, People's National Party supporter. The country is doomed." June 17th was when she posted that. The country is doomed. Like when police get in trouble, they take them off the beat, they take them out of them car if they drive a cruiser or if they ride a bike, they take away the bike, they put them on foot patrol. I'm gonna put your ass out there and have you start directing traffic. That's a commander will say that behind the scenes in law enforcement to a subordinate. You going on traffic duty. I hate traffic duty. All I do is stand out there and direct traffic all day in a hot ass sun. So that's what they were gonna do to her. She's been there over 20 years. She spoke up. She said she's worked in all these positions. She's worked in the office. She was a route coordinator. She was a team leader. She went back to the office again. And now, because she made known her political affiliation, that she's a PMP, they assigned her to the Riverton dump. She said, "So now I must go sit at the Riverton dump due to politics, and there is no one to speak to about it because I'm a PNP, People's National Party supporter. This country is doomed." The Gleaner visited the Norman Gardens community in East Kingston where the two lived. The daughter and the mom lived. However, the neighbors are still in shock and they are not saying anything. None of the neighbors wanted to talk. The Solid Waste Management Executive Director Audley Gordon confirmed that one of the victims was employed at the agency, which we already know it's the mom, but it was confirmed by them. Operations were affected by the incident. Because people come pile up a morning time to get their food, to go inside to work. They weren't there. And Gordon said that, and plus it was a murder that took place at the entrance of the facility. So, of course, operations were affected. Gordon said that while the agency wants to continue its work, efforts are focused on supporting our traumatized staff members. And we don't believe that, we have no reason to believe that this is an attack on us, the NSWMA, which is the Solid Waste Management staff in general. So we want everyone to remain calm. So he doesn't believe that this is an attack on the staff members in general. This is a targeted hit, he thinks. So he's telling everybody to remain calm. Listen, sir, nobody now remain calm, because I couldn't come to work every day after 2 people just got murdered right at the entrance of where I work at and remain calm. I would be paranoid as hell coming to work. I would also be afraid to state my political affiliation. Because what if I go say PMP like she and dead? What if I go say I'm a People's National Party supporter like her and get gunned down too? So in essence, this is an attack on this is a direct attack on your staff. You know what I don't like? I don't like when victims come out and say what they think is about to happen to them or what they're going through, and people dismiss it. Like the people who are supposed to actually care about it, use it as information to fuel an investigation, all that, then just brush it off. Well, I don't really think that that has nothing to do with that. The lady was complaining for months. And she was, look, nothing in the universe is by chance, okay? Everything connect. She was complaining for months about that solid waste management firm. She was complaining for months about what was going on inside with her employers and her associates. Her obviously people over her, because they can place her wherever they want. Place her. That tell me them are the boss. They run the place. She was complaining for months. And she ended up getting gunned down right there with her daughter. And you don't think anything has anything to do with any. I wish she had called names earlier, but hey. Now, other divisions were far from calm, as several other women were reportedly murdered in the last 24 hours. In the last 24 hours. Rash Jada said, big up Rash Jada. Rash Jada said, so he knows something about her death then. Man, it's looking like it. I wouldn't say he knows something about her death. I would say that somebody inside of where she works at knows exactly what happened to her, and they probably even know who did it. Hell, they might have been the one who orchestrated for it to be done. Yeah, man, Shadaya, every morning. Not saying we should look just there and don't look anywhere else, because after watching one of them contract killer video there, and them muffle the face, I see a contract killer, alleged contract killer, or self-described contract killer, and he was talking about the intricacies of contract killing. Them say people think a contract killing are just you pick up gun and man, give you one name and you one picture with one face and you just go kill them. Him said, no, my crew don't move like that. And we take most of our hits them from overseas. So we collect money in US dollars. And he was giving a scale of how much it costs to do this, how much it costs to do that. Big business. But I remember him describing how they trail somebody. Him say, yeah, it depends on who it is, because sometimes you have to all go rent a room in a community. Just so you can enter the community. And you just lay low and you watch and observe for a while. But the person who go rent the room is not the person who we are going to get to do the killing. So that's to say, if they're following you and they're making a note, all right, I just should every morning Okay, Monday morning she was here, Tuesday morning she was here, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, Friday morning. Okay, this is our routine. Next week, if she'll follow the same routine here, slap her up on Wednesday. Monday morning she was there, Tuesday morning she was there. Oop, there she is, Wednesday. You know, it amazes me the amount of work they put into this level of destruction. We don't believe that. We have no reason to believe that this is an attack on the NSWMA staff in general. You better be careful over there for no work there. Investigators in the St. Andrew Central Division are probing the murder of 31-year-old Anik because remember, right after this happened, there are other incidents as well, right? The article says several other women were murdered in the last 24-hour period. Investigators in the St. Andrew Central Police Division are probing the murder of 31-year-old Anik Walters, which is the daughter of the PMP councillor, the other female you see on the front of this, councillor candidate for the Admiraltown Division, Louis Pumbles Newland. And another man was shot in this incident, which took place at 10:45 p.m. Sunday on Orange Street. And then in the St. Catherine North Police Division, two higglers were executed early morning Monday. Police say a woman and a man believed to be vendors at the Coronation Market. They were killed at the bus stop. Residents heard explosion sometime after 3 a.m., but the bodies were not found until sometime after 7 a.m. Meanwhile, for the last week of September, the nation was rocked by a series of acts of violence against women, with a series of murders, including a quadruple murder involving 3 women. See it there again? Another quadruple murder. And of the 4, 3 of them were women. On September 23rd, a woman who reportedly visited the island for a funeral, we covered that as well, she was killed at the Meadow Rest Memorial Gardens. Wait, we never covered that one day. One of the women in the house where they sent the kids out, grab some snacks and grab some drinks. One of those women were also just visiting the island. There's another one, and she got killed at Meadow Rest Memorial Garden. See, these things, there's so many of them happening, you can't even keep up anymore. She was not immediately identified. Now, on September 26th, Carrie Ann Higgins and Dorothy Higgins and Diane Johnson, they were murdered in Crawl District. That's another 3 women. And a woman and a man known only as Junior was also killed in that incident. Late Friday, Audrey Hines, former president of the Craft Market Association, she was shot dead at the Kingston Craft Market as well. You see, some of these, we're not even hearing about them. There are so many women being killed and girls being killed. The news don't even bring them anymore like that. They just say it quickly in passing and keep moving. The Gleaner was told that a lone gunman approached, asked for her name, and then shot her. Are you named Audrey? Shot her. On Saturday, the last day of September, Grants Pen woman, a teacher in training, was abducted, taken to an area in St. Andrew South Police Division where she was shot in the head and left for dead as well. Do you see how many of them I just gave you just right there? Wow. And don't you notice that anytime election is ramping up in Jamaica, the murders them ramp up? This has been happening since I don't know. I think it's 1989. 89. Sad situation. Listen, with all these murders of these women and all this molestation and abuse of our females, our children, our girls, where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? Me have a woman, you know, but here what? Me no want no man. And I'm sure there are a lot of us that can say the same thing. We don't want men. So, but at the rate that they're killing these women off and then killing the girls off, And it's always some productive, progressive woman too. It's never one of them gal that would just sit down all day not doing nothing. There's always some up and moving, up and going. She has been gainfully employed with the same facility for over 20 years. So, with that, the murders of the women, with the brain draining of the country, a lot of the teachers that are leaving Jamaica to go teach overseas, going to greener pastures, are women, females. Teaching is a profession where there are male teachers, of course, but women outweigh men in that profession by far. Same thing with nursing, and they're leaving in numbers. So y'all killing out the women. Y'all, you got them. Listen, look how this look, right? You're killing out the grown women that are progressive, productive people. Obviously, not no waste girl. In order to hold down unemployment at one of these places for 20 plus years, it says a whole lot about your character. It says a whole lot about your person. And then run a business on the outside that your daughter is gainfully employed in. So while me gone inside go work, you stay out there so I still make money whole day. That's your money. You mean you know where your daughter is at, and you know she is not mixing no foolishness, and she's gainfully employed, and she's right outside where I work at. Enough people know me in there, man, so they'll have respect for my daughter because I've been here over 20 years and I'm nice to people and these kind of things. So they're killing off these types of women, right? The matriarchs. And then you go kill off all the young girls and ladies who are supposed to produce more of us and our kind. And then you have those who manage to make it out of certain situations and get somewhere, the nurses, the school teachers. They're leaving in numbers, record numbers. Where does that leave us? True Life Erica TV say I can't believe it. Like honest to gosh. Audrey Wright says them one left with a brainless society. Dorothy T says the ones who are speaking out. You know, Jamaica is a dangerous place for anybody, not just for. Now, don't get me twisted. We have 10 minutes left on this live, yeah. Don't get my words twisted. Jamaica is a beautiful place. Yes, you can go there and have fun. Yes, it is unmatched the vibe when things are good. I've been to many other countries around the world. None of them have ever made me feel like Jamaica, and that is without being biased. That is just comparing a certain level of freedom and a vibes and a happiness. With that said, though, it's dangerous for everybody all across the board, right? But for our women and our girls, it's more dangerous. Let's talk about cultural norms. Let's talk about cultural norms. Let's talk about what we are consuming as far as what we call entertainment or as far as just media, period. That could include music, movies, it, all of the above. And then the shift in our attitude. You know, one time gone, man, the woman was everything for us in our culture. Man used to say, "Pum pum can come here and a pum pum to take me out if me dead pan one. I so God want me to go. Me no afraid for dead that way there. Any other death, me don't want it." The only person that carried one of those was a woman or is a woman. I mean, nowadays times have changed and now they're fashioning man-made ones, but you see, I wonder if them man here feel like say they can kill out all the real woman them and then them can draw for one of those man-made fashion ones. I know, you know. I think there's an underlying level of bitterness in our society, in our culture. There's a genuine hate for women and girls. It's as if they are not worth anything, they are seen as to be used and discarded. That's why when some of them have some kind of attitude that's very defensive, I see with it. I see with it. Because in order to survive, especially in an environment like that, you have to have a defensive attitude. So I don't hold it against them. It makes them hard and difficult to deal with. But looking at what they have to traverse, what they have to navigate on a daily basis, think of a little girl and she has a vision and she's 5 and she says, okay, by the time I'm older, I'm like my sister who is 19, me I gotta do this, that, and that. I want to run track and field. I want to be like Sherika Jackson. I want to go up on the track team and go run internationally and get a scholarship and go study overseas. We have big dreams as children, as Jamaican children. I know because I'm one. And right there, she's traumatized because some big nasty man decided to disrupt her life forever. Y'all see Diana King, right? And put her through trauma forever. For what? Moments of pleasure? Sick pleasure? I genuinely feel like, and then let's talk about how the justice system plays out when anything is done to these women. We could close off the next 6 minutes and talk about that. It's like man get less time for what they do to women compared to what they do anywhere else to anything else or anybody else. That's an incentive. It's an incentive, yo, brother. If you kill a man, right, they might give you 20, 25. Because you know them don't give a lot of time anyways in prison. Look at Andre Blackman Bryan. Andre Blackman Bryan, the reputed leader of the Klansman One Dan gang. And me, sister, and him finally come out and stand up in a court and said that is what he is. In the same speech where he said the others should be let go. They got him on 5 murders. I don't know if y'all saw that. They got him on 5 murders. Well, none of the 5 murders were women, so I'll give him that. But they got him on 5 murders. And he sat there and said, I was the boss. And me, I did the done. And me called the shots. They executed based on my orders. The man get 39 years. They gave Vibes Cartel 38 years for one body with no admittance of guilt, no DNA evidence, no concrete evidence involving him in that. But that's a whole nother video and a whole nother story, which I did on the other video, which is up now on the channel. But it seems like when they do something to women in Jamaica, you get less time. I told you all this story of the brother who beat him woman upstairs with a hammer, killed her, wrapped her in a tarpaulin, and I'll never forget, and was rolling her in the blue tarpaulin down the steps. Cause them live up on some step will lead down to the street, then there's a sidewalk, then there's the street, and then there's a gully that drop across the street. The man a roll her down the step them, reach down at the sidewalk, rolling her across the street. It's somebody call out and say, hey, what that? And he took off running. He was missing for a few days. He showed up back with an attorney. I think he ended up getting like, him never get no time. I don't even remember how many years he got, but I'll look it up and tell you on another day because I remember being flabbergasted at the sentence for that. Red-handed caught because it's a woman. So Jamaican women and girls need help from all corners, all angles. Let me close this video out by saying this. To all the real men out there, some man feel like so what makes you a real man is because you were born a male. Nah. To all the real men out there who actually are real protectors and real providers, I salute you because they need us. Even the ones who claim, I don't need you, I don't need no man. Well, like that caller said, One time, some of these people, we have to leave them and let them, I guess, perish by the wayside. But to the real men who understand that calling of a protector and a provider, and you've been protecting, and it's not in your arsenal to harm children, let alone get into sadistic, nasty, friggery like sexually abusing you, your own children and little children. To you, I salute you. Just know this: you are needed. You are needed. And to the women, I don't know what else to preach to y'all. I told them before. And I tell you again, I've been telling y'all this since 2016. You hold the blade. Everybody else hold the handle. There goes SouFLo trying to say a woman. No, listen. Woman, you hold the blade. No, them hold the blade. Sorry, you hold the handle. But you don't know it. You don't know it, so you go around flexing powerless. Anything you accept is what our society will become and has become. When you put down on a foot collectively, all that will stop. Just like that. Stop accepting friggery and foolishness. Stop making them dirty waste money or feel like said they're somebody because this is what they do. Believe me, there are women out there. Them most of them man a contract killer. Them most of them man is a rapist. Them most of them man is a child molester. Them most of them man is contributing in this. And they back him up fully and act like they don't know nothing. And it is them who continue to help to keep this thing going. But remember this, you woman, you hold the handle. Everybody else hold the blade. All right. Nobody coming to free you. You better free yourself. With that said, we'll leave this one right here this morning. Manners and respect to each and every one of you tuning in. Go out there and feel empowered. Don't feel defeated. Go out there and feel uplifted, armed with some type of knowledge, some type of, I don't know, some type of motivated spirit to do better. I'll catch y'all tomorrow morning, right here, if God spare my life. And tomorrow we'll probably be going way earlier. But I couldn't make this one no 3-hour live this morning. This had to be this short and precise. Walk with God. And remember that karma is very, very real. All right? I'm out. Peace.